This video and all other videos on this channel for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Oh. I love this game. I absolutely love this game. All right, hello, and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and you're going to love this, okay? You are going to love this, especially if you've been following the work for a while. So, what am I going to talk about today, okay? All of these wild ideas that we have had on this channel are actually being confirmed in real time. I forgot the most important one. Controlled demolition. There we go. So all of these ideas are being confirmed in real time, okay? We've had Congress banned from owning stocks. For a long time, we were speculating this was going to happen, weren't we? It's been written on the top of the melt-up chart. Right here, are Congress going to be banned from owning stocks? Is that going to be this whole thing where they just repeat what they did with the Fed officials back here? They ban them, quote, for ethical reasons, and then we enter a bear market, and really what they do is just let them out of the top. Are they going to do the same thing? For a long time, they've been talking about it, okay? And for a long time, we've been saying, don't read too much into it, because they have a long history of talking about it, but not actually doing anything. And of course, just recently, they've actually started to push this bill through the Senate. I think there's 3 more checkpoints, and then it could essentially be live, and I suspect that will likely mark the top, okay? Now, that's the least exciting one. The more exciting ones are the controlled demolition idea, which we covered in yesterday's video. Okay, seems more and more likely that they are cooking the books. They are heading for a controlled demolition, and they have achieved that by simply being deliberately late and deliberately behind the curve for inflation, keeping interest rates overly restrictive, everything that we were talking about in yesterday's video, showing you the evidence for that. And again, we've been speculating that this was the base case on the channel for a long time, right? For a good couple of years at least, we've been throwing around the term controlled demolition and saying it looks a lot like that's what's in play. Okay, now something else that has been confirmed in recent weeks for the Camel Crew is we said as we approach the tops, we will start to see this idea of people parroting no more 4-year cycle, no more bear market decline, up only forever, all of that kind of thing. And again, validated in real time as we approach the latter part of this cycle, we are starting to see this idea proliferate. Again, the Camel Crew stays 1 or 2 steps ahead of the curve. But today it gets even more interesting, okay, because we've got a Bitcoin strategic reserve being confirmed, and it's going to be funded by a gold revaluation, which is also now completely confirmed. Okay, so super wild times. I absolutely love this stuff. I can't wait to share it with you. Let me be really clear, okay? They are indeed going to revalue the gold, and they are going to use some of that revaluation profit to buy Bitcoin, okay? So super wild times. We often say wild times, but they just keep getting more and more wild. Okay, this is absolutely crazy. It's happening right here in front of us. And again, it feels amazing to put in the kind of work that I have to be able to see this stuff come in, share it with you, and now have it confirmed in real time. Absolutely awesome. So we're going to get into that. First things first, I have to spend a moment to plug this indicator. We are now completing the update, okay? You can see we've had a full reskin of the website. It is looking cleaner than ever. The update for the indicator is now fully live, fully launched. And there's a couple opportunities for the Camel Crew here. If you go to the members hub on the website and click general product updates, you'll find this pinned post here from Ben. And what we are asking, if you want to, is for you to record a quick video showing how you use the indicator. And in return, if we pick your video to feature it on the website, we will give you a big fat discount. You can see Deshelle here posted a video and Ben gave him lifetime subscription for $1. So yeah, if you want to help us out and help us get some different use cases for this indicator to post on the website, and we feature your video here, like Deshelle's, for example, help us out. So the update is officially live. If anyone wants to go on Trustpilot and leave reviews here as well, we would really appreciate that. So far, we've got 19 reviews. They're all 5-star on Trustpilot. And if you want to let other people know this product operates in an open, honest, and transparent manner, please do let everyone else know that there's a real team behind this indicator and it does what it says on the tin. The price is going to double very, very soon. In fact, we're about to put a countdown timer on the website, which will be a countdown for the doubling of price anyone that is in before will lock in a discount for life. For an update on the gold DCA and the Bitcoin DCA, okay, the indicator has started to outperform now as expected. So instead of DCAing into gold, if you only DCA on the cycle low indicator flashes, you will outperform. And I suspect this gap is going to widen massively. For Bitcoin, the results are even better. Okay, if you only use the indicator, you will have performed 22% over the past couple of months versus 12.7% if you just blindly DCA into Bitcoin. So that's all normal and to be expected. That, of course, is not a surprise for anyone that uses the indicator. The last thing I wanted to say before we go down this rabbit hole head first and start to talk about gold revaluation, Bitcoin strategic reserves, and all of that crazy stuff is it occurred to me, in fact, one of the members pointed this out to me. Now I have a son. Okay, I can put about 9,000 something a year into a junior ISA. So let me know in the comments if you want a JISA series, okay? I will fund the account with like 10K a year or something. It will be in my son's name. And then we can maybe degen it, right? We'll see how quickly we can hit a mil in the JISA, maybe playing some crazy high risk strategies out of the 4-year cycle lows. I don't know, like leverage MicroStrategy, something like that. Really, it's free money for me and for my son since it's tax free. So I'm only going to have to give that money to the tax man. If I stick 10K a year in a JISA, then, you know, like I said, it's free money. So we could do it, you know, more seriously. We could try to create a balanced portfolio and hit 10, 12, 15% a year. But I don't know, man. Let me know what you think, okay? He doesn't really need the money. He's a child. And it's free for me. So I think we maybe take this down a slightly more high risk, high reward approach for the JISA. Like I said, I think I can put just under 10K a year in it without having to pay any tax. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We'll set it up. We'll get it all tracked and traced. And we'll see how quickly we can make my son a trust fund baby. Okay, enough tomfoolery. Okay, enough tomfoolery. Put your tinfoil hat on. Grab yourself a pipe. And let's get into this. Okay, look, as I showed fairly recently, the 4th video I ever posted to this channel 3 years ago was me talking about 20K gold ounces, okay, 5-figure gold coming at the end of the decade, and largely a big part of this being the gold revaluation process. More recently, I then made an update 2 weeks ago, the Great Gold Revaluation, where I said, look, I've been talking about this forever. This idea is catching on. More and more people are starting to talk about this. There's a little bit of new data. Let's discuss it, okay? And we discussed it. So if you haven't seen that, you know, it's only posted 2 weeks ago. Go and check that out. But here is where the madness begins, because today, okay, we have confirmation that this is what is going on. This is from the Fed's notes, August 1st, 2025. With public debt at high levels, some governments have begun to explore financing additional expenditures without raising taxes, whilst also not increasing public debt outstanding. Where have you heard that before? That's right. In this video, it's exactly what I said in this video. Absolutely crazy. One possibility is using the proceeds from valuation gains on gold reserves. For the US, this would involve revaluing the government's 262 million troy ounces, again, straight out of that video, in gold reserves, the largest gold reserves globally, from a statutory price of, you guessed it, $42.22, okay, $42.22 per troy ounce, again, straight out of that video, to the current market prices, which stand at about 3.3K per ounce. So this really is happening, and it's happening in real time right in front of us. Drawing on valuation changes in gold as a funding source is particularly salient because most gold reserves globally were acquired prior to 1990, as shown in figure 1, this chart right here. Okay, most of them were acquired down here, and they have not yet been repriced to reflect current market valuations. But it only what they're doing. So how does this work? Well, the Federal Reserve Banks remit net earnings to the general fund of the Treasury during that period. The first $6 billion of these remittances in the fiscal year shall be utilized by the Secretary for implementation of the Bitcoin Purchase Program pursuant to the purposes set forth under Section 5. We will go to Section 5 in a moment. And look down here, okay, again, straight out of the Great Gold Revaluation. Federal Reserve System gold certificates not later than 180 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Federal Reserve Banks shall tender all outstanding gold certificates in their custody to the Secretary. Not later than 90 days after the tender of that last certificate, the Treasury shall issue new gold certificates to the Federal Reserve that reflect the fair market value priced of the gold held against such certificates by the Treasury. as of the date specified by the Treasury on each new gold certificate upon issue by the Secretary, each Federal Reserve Bank that receives a new gold certificate shall remit the difference in cash value between the old and the new certificates to the Secretary for deposits in the general fund within 90 days. You know what? Let's click this video. Revaluing the gold will literally fix the deficit, balance the refinance, and pay down some of the debt / balance the books all in one fell swoop. And here's the best bit. It's only going to cost them $11 billion to buy back the gold certificates since, as we know and have established plenty of times already today, the book value of this gold is just $11 billion or $42 per ounce. So once they've paid a mere $11 billion for these gold certificates, they can simply revalue the book price to 5 figures per ounce, just like back in history when we've seen it already done before, going from 27 to 35. And as if by magic, we're going to have created somewhere between 4 and 11 trillion of new money overnight to fix some of these debt issues. They'll simply sell it back to the Fed for trillions, and the Treasury will be funded for years to come. And now here is the real 200 IQ move, because once they've done all of this, the Treasury can then take the Fed's gold once more, and in exchange, it can be given another non-redeemable gold certificate. So we will end up with the Treasury having its gold back, plus trillions created out of thin air overnight from the gold revaluation. We'll have no additional debt because this act does not generate any debt that needs to go on the balance sheet. And we'll have a budget surplus instead of a whopping great deficit that the masses are expecting. Absolutely crazy, right? Is it me, or is that absolutely crazy? They are literally outlining exactly how this thing is going to go down. And it is fully in line with expectations because history doesn't repeat, but it does often rhyme. And here is the big enchilada. The first 6 billion of these remittances in the fiscal year shall be utilized by the Secretary for the implementation of the Bitcoin purchase program set forth under Section 5. So let's head into Section 5 and notice how Section 5 right here says the Secretary shall establish a Bitcoin purchase program which shall purchase 200k Bitcoin per year over a 5-year period for a total acquisition of 1 million Bitcoins. They will conduct the purchases in a transparent and strategic manner to minimize market disruption and hold Bitcoin acquired under this section in the trust for the United States. Any Bitcoin transferred to the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve under Section 7 may offset the purchase requirements under Paragraph 1, again using that gold revaluation to finance the Bitcoin purchases. All Bitcoin purchased under the Bitcoin purchase program shall be placed in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. To ensure the long-term stability and security of the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, the Secretary shall hold all Bitcoin acquired by the United States and deposited in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, regardless of the acquisition method, for not less than 20 years. Now, I want to pause here and just say I have got some more tinfoil hattery for you guys regarding this bit right here. Okay, so we're going to come back to that in 1 second. During the minimum holding period under Paragraph 1, no Bitcoin held in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve may be sold, swapped, auctioned, encumbered, or otherwise disposed of for any purpose. So there you have it. Now, I want to make yet another crazy, wild, conspiratorial call for you guys. I think that they are not necessarily going to use the gold reval to purchase the Bitcoin. So whilst they are saying here they're going to revalue gold, take the money, buy Bitcoin with it, I personally do not believe they are going to ape in at the top. I really don't think that's what's going to happen. And instead, I think what they're going to do is continue to do what they have been doing, which is continue to orchestrate a controlled demolition, a massive bear market, a global recession. And just like we've seen in prior bear markets, both inside of Bitcoin and outside of Bitcoin, I think what we're going to see is as we start to get the decline into the bear market, the de facto leverage in the system, which is higher than ever, some of these corporate treasuries that are holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet and all of that kind of thing, they're going to become forced sellers, creating a massive bear market right as the masses have been convinced that either there is no more big bear markets, there's no more 4-year cycle lows, or the volatility is going to perpetually decrease. And because we've seen diminishing bear market sizes over each of the cycles, this time around we're going to continue to see even less drawdown to the downside. I do not believe that is the case. I believe we are going to massively decline past the prior bear market levels, which was about 70% drawdown. And I believe a lot of that is going to be driven by this de facto leverage unwinding. I believe once we have fully orchestrated this controlled demolition, brought the whole thing down massively, forced a bunch of these Bitcoin treasuries to dump their Bitcoin, creating a huge cascade to the downside, then I believe the government is going to step in and purchase all the Bitcoin out of those 4-year cycle lows, and do so no less right before they launch record QE to the tune of at least 10, if not $20 trillion. And I believe it is that is going to catalyze Bitcoin moving to the numbers that people have been speculating it would eventually hit for many, many years. So yes, I believe we absolutely have more upside into the end of this year. But make no mistake about it, I am still a 4-year cycle low champion. I am still cheering on a bear market decline. I believe that bear market decline is going to be much bigger than what we saw in the prior cycle here. And I believe once we get to that 4-year cycle low, we will see that record QE. We will see all of this Bitcoin strategic reserve purchased. And largely speaking, it will simply be because we've had all of these factors. They banned themselves from owning stocks at the top, okay, let themselves out of the top, then orchestrate the controlled demolition to bring everything down, convince people there's never going to be another 4-year cycle, diminishing returns and volatility is a thing, no more bear markets, BlackRock's never going to allow its clients to lose money on the ETFs and all of this stuff, only for them to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve at the 4-year cycle low before record QE, and then ultimately revalue the gold higher once the gold price has also responded to the QE and has made it significantly higher than the 3,300, where is it? Here, the $3,300 per ounce that they are talking about right here. Why would they revalue the stuff at 3.3K when they can just delay this whole act, pump the price to north of 10, 15, even 20K an ounce off the back of that QE bomb, and then revalue it much, much, much higher, generating much closer to $6, $7, $8 trillion rather than the 2.6 that this would generate. So how's that for wild, right? Super, super, super wild times. I love it when you can grab as much data as you can, try to piece it together like a puzzle, and over time the puzzle makes a picture, and that picture will tell you the future long before it happens. My favorite thing about markets, trading and investing is that if you put in the time and the effort and the work, you can eventually win at a game that is specifically designed for you to lose at. And if you're a weirdo contrarian like I am, then nothing makes you more excited and happy. Nothing is more fulfilling than winning at a game that is rigged for you to lose at. Speaking of winning, okay, so far so good. We'll see what happens here with the stock market. This is the S&P. We're still long and strong, still haven't violated this trend line yet. I do think we're probably in that neighborhood now to start to potentially recapture the levels the market are respecting, as I've been talking about for a while. So we'll set this as a temporary angle for now. This is the one I'm really putting the weight on, but it seems okay, right? I'm not too concerned. VIX still getting suppressed, isn't it? A couple of days of pop is not enough to get excited about. Yet another lower high. So down, down, down we go until we ultimately get to the VIX trade. If you know, you know. Gold. Well, gold behaving as expected, isn't it? ABCDE complete. Cycle low is now in. Let's see, right? Let's see if we can get a push. Silver also pushing up. That's to be expected. And we are positioned for this via SILJ. So happy days, right? About to break out, I hope. And happy days there as well. Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things. And by that, I just mean confusing everyone, boring everyone to death, making people give up on it because they look at the price action all zoomed in like this, right? This is how most people view Bitcoin's price action. So don't do that, okay? Zoom out, look at the trend, and we'll see, right? Is the cycle low in, and is it going to push, or have we got to kind of roll over one final time, get cycle low inside the window? I'm going with the indicators count, although I know Bob Lucas is currently running with the arrows count here. I don't think it matters, to be honest. Eventually, whether it's from here or from here, it is going to get a big, strong, violent push to the upside. And when it does, the indicator will pick the low, regardless of whether it's from here or here. And once it does, then I'll take that as confirmation the low is in, and we can go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you found value here. If you haven't got the indicator and you're thinking about getting it, do take this opportunity to lock it in before we double the prices. You can try it risk-free for 2 weeks. It won't cost you anything. You can look around the website, see if it's for you. It comes with all that stuff like the gold and Bitcoin DCA trackers and all of that kind of stuff, as well as a bunch of content for learning, education, how the indicator works. There's a real team of humans behind it, so you can actually get customer support, and that is one of the big things that the Trustpilot reviews are rating us 5-star for, because there really is a real team behind it. So if you're a member of the Slice crew, look out for the video I'm going to post for you guys today. And other than that, I'll be back tomorrow with more content. Until then, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Camel Finance, he's the man to see. Rocking the markets with his contrarian spree. Trades like a pro, no fear, no shame. Sticking to his guns in his money game. He's a